Mr. Speaker, the point is that with the current spike, the 2 hospitals we have in the city are already full. And patients, particularly Central Province, we have already been turned away as the report of last night by our advisors. And therefore, I'm asking through you, the Prime Minister, if a decision could be made in that regard. We've got land in Bautama. We already approved the hospital under the Prime Minister's leadership. There are countries, our bilateral friends, that can be asked to do a phase 1 of the hospital as part of the strategy to look after the sick. And Honourable Member for Ijibitari, in the discussion that we had, we actually said that Central Province will be pro-vaccine. That's what we will declare, that we are promoting vaccination in Central Province, because that's the only way. The second question, Mr. Speaker, if that is not possible, Mr. Speaker, and Honourable Minister for Health, I have already been discussing this with. Port Moresby General Hospital has a lot of doctors, while Central Province under COVID has only 1 doctor. So we are struggling. Kwikila hasn't got many doctors. I strongly recommend, and I request the Prime Minister, could you make the decision for the Central Provincial Health Authority nominate Port Moresby General Hospital as the hospital under the Central Province Health Authority. Then we don't have to go and look for 2 doctors outside the system. We already had many doctors in the Port Moresby General Hospital. Port Moresby General Hospital has 900 beds. There are only 30 or 50 beds, COVID beds. They can extend and manage it accordingly. And so if those 2 options can be looked at, Mr. Speaker, I believe that for us Central Province people, our people will stop being turned away. And the last point is, Mr. Speaker, under the Hippocratic Oath, the ethics that doctors make an oath on, that we doctors are doctors without borders. That means we don't turn away doctors for color, religion, what type of sickness. The fact that patients have been turned away from Port Moresby General Hospital, Guerrero Hospital, and private hospital is illegal. That must be stopped immediately by the authority. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The Honourable Prime Minister.
I start by answering backwards from the last point he made. No doctors in our country should be turning away patients. But the structural issues they report to or come under different PHAs, etc., should not be the case in which patients are turned away. And especially when you look at the Central Province issue, I concur with him. The Central Province has been absent of a provincial hospital for a long, long time. And governments before have made attempt to deliver a Central Provincial Hospital. We've reviewed that. We've also allowed for a hospital to be built at Bautama. In fact, last year and this year we've allocated 10 million kina. And my memory is failing me, but I think another 10 million kina is put in this year for the earthwork in and around Bautama to be prepared to ensure when we plant a hospital or we plant a provincial building there, it is sitting on a properly planned and landscaped area in as far as permanent hospital or permanent provincial setup is concerned. So last year and this year, I think there was a 10 million appropriated for last year and 10 million for this year in the context of extra allocations we're making to provincial districts. That was geared towards preparing Bautama for a hospital to be planted there. And our cabinet has already approved a permanent hospital for Central Province to be stationed at Bautama. But in between now and that time, that 4 years or 3 years, or 2 years, in fact, in a nationwide program, we want to deliver 21 provincial and the 22nd, the Bougainville Regional Hospital, so that by the time we have a 50 years of anniversary independence in 2025, our generation of leaders on both sides could have gifted to our nation a 22 functional hospital system in our country that embraces our people's health. What COVID-19 has shown to us is that we've inherited a dilapidated health infrastructure system, infrastructure, as well as a non-functional health system. And we can't pinpoint to anyone in the past. It is what it is. It is built up in the last 46 years. And on both sides, we need to correct this now. To the people of Central, the recommendations you offer is taken on board. First and foremost, the synergy between Port Moresby General Hospital and Central must take place. And Mr. Health Minister, Central here, plus law limit staff. Why? Port Moresby General Housing, no can tell him I want Central line coming salaries blah housing limit. Please make him happen. Geru housing to Nogan, whether I'm NCD or Central, same people, same country, coexist. And white man can put him bottom to him NCD, now him to him Central. So, Mr. Health Minister, please make him so. They coexisted before, coming up now. So, time of COVID, you need him long care for more. We cannot be turning away people from one province to another province. But Kamlo Gulf or Kamlo Central or Kamlo another part of our country, Port Moresby General Hospital is a national referral hospital, should be embracing all people. And for Central, your temporary discussion on temporary care, not just Central, but right across our country, temporary intervention. And I asked, and in fact, Mr. Deputy Speaker, in our government caucus this morning, I went a little bit beyond ordinary, and I spoke very strongly on the need for all our provincial health authorities to now, and they could have, and the Honorable Dr. Puka Temu was with me for some time in a National Control Center at Marape House. Our conversation 1 year ago was that we prepare for the worst case scenario. I'm just quite sad that our provincial health authorities nationwide have not responded and stepped up. Demand for not just acquittal on the 70 million plus we've given to the provincial health authorities, but more importantly, their plan to how we could physically address a nation that is hesitant in vaccination. And so my instruction through National Control Center and the Health Minister is witness to it, has always been, build additional bed spaces. Not a modern ambient, the 300-400 million kin hospital that we are looking for. That can come, but today to expand to address the need of hospital care. Because COVID-19 does trigger people, especially the 5 to 10% who would need oxygen, they'll need to be coming to the hospital. And so that instruction has gone out 1 year ago. As I speak today, I am absolutely dissatisfied that provincial health authorities have not sent in all their plan to how we build capacity on the ground in the respective provinces we have. Central is an exceptional case. They don't have a physical site to work on, and the reference to Kwikila as a reference of some sort as a provincial hospital, I do sincerely apologize, Puka. It's just painful that you're in this situation. We will have a handle on this, the temporary facility for Central. If we divide Central into 3 zones, Magi Highway Zone, the Sogari Highway Zone, as well as the Hiritano Highway Zone, if the provincial health authorities could come and we divide the province into 3 specific zones on how we could have temporary measures to address them as they are. They don't come so much into our city, and if we need to mobilize doctors to attend to them in the 3 zones, we could localize our people where they are. Mr. Deputy Speaker, at our government caucus this morning, we were discussing on the need for nationwide isolation. And today, as I answer this question, I appeal to our people. COVID is real. COVID kills. No medicine has been found on planet Earth except vaccination to ensure that you don't get COVID. Your recommendations are in order. We will look into them to ensure how do we activate a sort of mobile response, temporary response quickly to ensure the 3 corners or roads linking to Central has a response for our people. But we will also ensure Port Moresby General Hospital and the NCD health system do not remove Central Province people away. They should interface, work, and coexist so that it also saves Central Province and we all saving together. We will look into the CAT sort of temporary facilities as we work the permanent setup for Central in our country going forward.